Welcome to the Keep the Faith podcast. I am your host, Tori, and with me today I have two special guests. I have Queen in the studio and also Miss Jewel in the studio. And before we get started on what's going on this coming weekend, they have a big, huge event that's coming up on this weekend, which is this Sunday.
Yes.
On the 19th. And before we get into what they have coming up, we're going to first allow them the opportunity to tell us a little bit about themselves. So, Queen has actually been on the show before. So, Queen, if you don't mind, can Jewel go first?
I would love for her to go first. Yes.
So, Jewel, tell everyone just a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Jewel, of course, and um, I work. I do insurance. I sell insurance products, and I also have my own home-based business in the financial industry, and that's what our event is about, actually. So, just looking to help a lot of people. I love to help people, and I'm family oriented, and just want to be able to help a lot of families move forward in 2022. Get their money in their pockets right in 2022.
Okay. And Queen.
Hi, everyone. And thanks for having us back on your beautiful show. I'm not in. I need to come over some. I'm sorry. I'm causing problems.
You're fine.
No, but I want to congratulate you for, how you started and where you're at now. You're moving up like the Jeffersons, as I like to say, and we're really proud of you. And again, glad, and we thank you for having us. I do so many things. I tell people I've been everything but a firefighter and an astronaut. So in some life, I have had that job. And right now, I'm glad to say that I finally did some things that I wanted to do for myself. I've written 3 books. I am an author. You can find them on Amazon and Kindle. 2 are on relationships, and 1 is about self-esteem. Self-esteem is really important to all of us, and especially our young people. But I wrote this book with everyone in mind from 0 to 99. So if you'd like to pick that book up, it's a little short little book, like a children's book. It's got pictures and all that. People like that. So, check me out, and definitely leave reviews when you order anything off Amazon or you read anything on your Kindle. Reviews are where it's at. When they can be good or bad, it's just as long as you leave your, take on, what you have read and experienced. And I am also a poet, a mom, a daughter, a Grammy. I do so many things. Like I said, I have a bread and butter job. That's what I call it, a bread and butter, pays, the bills and whatnot. So I'm really interested in bringing this opportunity to people. This Sunday, we're going to be a city grill. It's called Money Matters. And we're going to try to, bring some more money home, because everybody knows inflation right now is, is kicking all of our behind. So we'd like to, help people.
Okay. Yeah. And the event that's coming up on Sunday actually touched base on it. It's actually called Money Matters. And what exactly is going to be the time frame? You said it's going to be at City Grill. What is also going to be the time that the event is going to be taking place?
Well, roughly, doors are open at 1:00, but, we say, good time for everyone to kind of, show up and, get from church and what other activities they may have, to about 5. That should cover, everything that we want to do with, the attendees.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, also, I wanted to I have a topic as well, and we're going to come back towards the end of the podcast to reiterate in regards to the event that's coming up on Sunday. Okay. But the topic today, we're going to be talking about guarding the heart. And of course, with the holiday season upon us, mm-hmm. It is very important for us to guard our hearts, because it seems like for some reason, especially during Christmas, I'm constantly hearing the song, even if I'm not physically hearing it, I'm hearing it in my head. The emotions, what do the lonely do at Christmas? And sometimes there are people, we have lost loved ones during the holidays, and you get sad and depressed. And also you have people that just feel lonely. And it's like, not only sometimes you can be lonely and you can be in a room full of people and you still feel alone. So basically I want to talk about guarding your heart, not allowing too many things to come into your heart, and I want to read the scripture, because guarding your heart comes from the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 23. And I'm going to read 4 different versions. From the NIV version: above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. The KJV version is: keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. The ESV version is keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it flows the spring of life. And the NLT version, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. So basically, I want the two of you first to tell me what it means to you. What do you do to guard your heart? And it doesn't matter who goes first.
Okay, well, I'll go first. When I think about guarding the heart, I think about the God that I serve. Okay, that leads me to put my heart in His hands. You know, when I put my heart in His hands, I have no worries. You know, it makes me feel safe. It makes me feel comforted. No matter what I come across in the world, no matter what I face, God is going to have my heart. He's going to protect it. Yes, we're going to have those up and down days where we're feeling sad. We've lost a loved one. You know, somebody hurt our feelings. You know, our children have disappointed us. But without fail, God has our heart. So no matter what we do, we got to keep that faith and put our faith in God, no matter what. And that's what guarding your heart means. Keep the scriptures. Keep the scriptures in your mind. Have a scripture that you know that when your heart is feeling some type of way, you can bring that scripture back to heart. Bring it back to mind. Definitely. And it'll always ease the pain or whatever you're feeling.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
When I think of guard your heart, and those scriptures are very familiar to me because, you know, we did Bible reading at home, you know, that was just what I grew up on, you know, and that I'm so glad that I did, because when I face these hardships and times that we all go through, I can recall, and one of those scriptures, or that scripture you read tonight, Tori, is one of them. Now, when I hear guard your heart, I tell you, it is the opposite of what people are now saying, which is the heart wants what the heart wants. Yeah, okay, cool. It does. I mean, I've been experienced that in many, many ways, many, many directions of life. But when you guard your heart, you will not be led by your heart. You know, that's why God gives us so many other components of being who we are. You know, we're not just a heart, we're also a head. So the head has to come into play. Is this a good decision? You know, just because my heart wants what my heart wants, can I also balance that with sound knowledge? Okay. Then you also have people say your spirit or your soul. Does your spirit also tell you things? Sometimes, you know, it's subtle, but it actually is telling you things. And you also have to, you know, pay attention to that. And then some people call that your gut instinct. So there's so many things in play when you're making decisions. So guarding your heart, making sure your head is clear, you know, minds are clear. You know, what are you leaning towards in your, you know, things that you gravitate to? Is it something that's good for you, or is it not? And you know that. It doesn't take, you know, a whole group of people to tell you you're on the wrong track. You know, again, your instinct tells you. You have a conscience, you have a sense of right and wrong. It tells you. So guard your heart and watch what your heart wants.
And if I may, Tori, that something Karen said made me think about, you know, I've studied the Bible thoroughly. And if you think about the first man and woman, Adam and Eve, Adam did not guard his heart. He let his heart, that woman guide his heart to eat that fruit from that tree. He chose to let his heart lead him in the wrong direction. So that's why it's so important that we do guard our heart, because just like me, I can let my husband lead me somewhere. Just, oh, he's my husband. I got to, you know, I just got to stand by him. But it's not always the right thing to stand by a mate, to stand by a parent. You got to do what you know is right in your heart. So it just made me kind of think back to
That's very
that
encouraging.
example in the Bible of Adam. He didn't guard his heart and he lost his life for it.
You know? That's good. I didn't think about that. Before I get into mine, let me pull up Victor's comment. Victor says, why do people isolate and assuming that is guarding, but we preach letting your emotions out and not bottling it up? Which one is it? I'm confused. And then Victor also says, guarding your heart and thinking for yourself is two different things. Hmm. Who want to touch on that?
Well,
I think he's absolutely right.
I mean, guarding your heart, you still have to think for yourself, because if you're going to guard your heart, you got to use your brain.
Mm-hmm.
If you're guarding your heart, then you're not letting your brain, you're not letting your heart run you. You're not letting your heart make the decisions. You're using your mind and using your common knowledge of what's right and wrong. That conscious that
Yeah.
that Queen spoke about, letting that guide you. When you let your conscience guide you, right and wrong, you're not going to go wrong. No matter how unpopular it is, you're not going to go wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to use your mind at some point.
Yeah. It's a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
So he was right.
Yeah. And then also, the first comment he said, why do people isolate and assuming that is guarding? But we preach letting your emotions out and not bottling it up. Which one is it? I'm confused. Okay. Victor is a personal friend of mine. And I feel like he's directing that comment towards me. So let me ask, let me answer that question. Yes, let me answer that question. So the reason why Victor's saying this, because I'm one of those people, and I say this quite often. People that know me know that I'm the type of person that I isolate a lot. And sometimes that could be a good thing. Sometimes that could be, and look, he said I sure am. So I'm one of those people that, I guard the way I guard my heart is to isolate. And when I make the decision to isolate, sometimes it's healthy and sometimes it's not. Now, when I isolate, I know when I did today, I just listen to worship music. I listen to affirmations, and I listen and I pray throughout the day. But sometimes when I say it's a good thing, when you're in worship mode and you're clearly hearing God's voice, that can, in some ways, it could be good. Well, actually, that's a good thing when you're listening to God's voice. But when you isolate and you are cutting everyone off, including people that care about you, people that love you, a lot of times that when your mind becomes the devil's playground. Now, I will say today, my isolation was a good thing because I was allowing God to come in, allowing to hear his voice. But over the weekend, I allowed the devil to play in my mind. I allowed my mind to be the devil's playground, where I started to have some depressing thoughts and started to wonder. Now, see, he taking the conversation a whole nother level, but I started to think, because I know Saturday, some things happened, and I started to question, why did this have to happen? Why is this person acting this way? And I just had so many thoughts going through my head over the weekend, where I did not answer my phone at all on Saturday. I didn't answer any of my texts so like I said, I know he was talking to me, because when I picked up my phone this morning, I had like over 50 something text messages that I missed. I had like over 30 something calls. By the time I look at all the calls, I had like 30 missed calls. So isolation, sometimes I feel like I have to be mindful to have some balance to knowing when it's healthy and when it's not. And like I said, sometimes I isolate and it's not healthy. And sometimes I isolate when it's not healthy. I mean, isolate and it's a good thing when I'm listening to God's voice. Like today, I was listening in tune with what God was telling me to do. But over the weekend, I allowed the devil to get in my head and I was thinking all kind of crazy thoughts. And one of my things is I like to be good to people. And I have to learn that everybody that I'm good to, they're not going to receive my goodness. Everybody does not deserve my goodness.
They're not going to be good to you.
Exactly. So that was where I was allowing my mind to get to me over the weekend, because I was like, well, I'm good to this person. Why? The mistreatment, why the slander, why this, why? So that's back, that's what happened. So yeah, Victor was talking to me.
But we're all guilty of that, and I just want to ask you a question about when you came back into, I guess, social media world, or the world you were escaping. How did you feel? Did you feel like you did something wrong, or did you feel like, hey, no, I needed that?
Well, when it comes to social media, I feel like it's necessary for me to back away from social media. Social media, sometimes there is a lot of, I feel there's a lot of distractions on social media. So for me, I never miss social media when I'm off social media. So it's not that, but it's just like when I'm not on social media, I can hear God's voice clearly when I'm not on social media. I use social media because here's the thing for me personally. This is just my opinion. When it comes to social media, I don't think social media is a bad thing. It's how people use it. People can abuse social media and make it bad, but social media itself is not a bad thing. It's how people abuse social media. So for me, I have to do what is necessary for my self-care. So if I feel like I have to back away from social media or do what is necessary for my self-care and for my sanity, I do what is necessary for me. Not everybody is going to understand what works for me. Now, what works for me may not work for someone else. And then there's some people that actually need social media to keep their mind. For me, I can do without social media. The only reason why I'm on social media now is because, to promote our podcast and to, you know what I'm saying? And business wise. But as far as like, if I use social media to stay connected, that's not what I use social media for, because that's what personal emails and phone numbers are for. If you want to reach out to me, you can call me or text me, but don't utilize social media. Because I have people, speaking of social media, I have people that actually get upset with me because I don't have my notifications, especially on Facebook. I don't have my notifications turned on for my messages on Messenger. So if I don't see your message, I just don't see it, and then I don't check it like that. But I have people literally upset with me because I sent you a message, and I'm like, okay. But this is what really upsets me sometimes. If you have my personal cell phone number, do not send me a message on Messenger, because why would you do that if you got when you could just text me and call me? So, but the answer to your question, though, I went all over the place, but the answer to your question, social media sometimes is something I have to take a break from, which I do all the time.
And that's understandable. But what about because I would imagine that the people who you're close to know how to reach you and get in touch with you. So how did you feel? Like, it wasn't just social media. You said you had missed calls and maybe texts. So were you still good with that? Like, I needed that time to myself.
Yes, I needed that time to myself.
See? Yeah, we all do.
But then too, I was thinking about something you said as far as isolation. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. But when you have those, I feel like for myself, when I have those negative days, I used to isolate myself as well. But I find that when I find a few good friends, as they say, a few good men, a few good friends that I have that I can talk to and express how I'm feeling without isolating myself from everybody. I need those few. So I learned that about myself, that isolating myself took me down into a deep hole. So I had to make sure, because I used to hold everything in too. And once I realized that, I know how to express myself and I can get this out and I feel so much better, then I was like, okay, I don't need to isolate myself, because it takes me to a really bad place. When I isolate myself, I at least need that Queen or that Nicole or that Cat to call and say, y'all, something, I ain't right. Somebody needs to come talk to me. And once I realized that about myself, that's still a way of guarding my heart, because I know that they're not going to sugarcoat stuff. If I'm feeling the wrong way about something, if I need to let it go, I know that they're going to tell me the right thing. I know who not to talk to when I'm feeling a certain way, but that's another way of guarding your heart. Make sure you keep positiveness around you at all times.
All times.
And those affirmations you mentioned, I try to do it every day, or at least write something that you're grateful for every day. And that'll kind of help guard your heart, keep it in the right space, keep your brain in the right space. Because like I said, I've had some negative stuff going with me on Facebook. And boy, let me tell you.
Haven't we all have some horror stories?
It was terrible. I don't bother nobody. So it's like, when you're that type of person that you always try to be helpful, be kind, and somebody comes at you a certain way, especially on social media, and I don't even use it for that. I'll use it for business. It does take you to a place where you just like, you know what? I don't want to be bothered with nobody no more. So in that way, different situations, you have to guard your heart too, I feel like, in different ways.
Yeah.
And from different angles. They might come at you at this angle and you'd be like, oh, let me This one coming at me from this angle. Oh, I got to figure out how to fix that.
Right. Right.
So it's just like a whole. It's like you got to come up with a whole recipe to keep your heart guarded and to keep your heart safe.
Right. And what I have unfortunately experienced is, they say hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you don't be around people, they can't hurt you. So, that's where I have to go sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people may not mean it. Sometimes you'd be like, let me slow back, let me fall back because maybe I took it the wrong way. Maybe it just wasn't setting with me. In fact, I heard TD Jakes say this last night on one of his programs, and he was like, you'll get someone to say something to you, but your spirit will tell you, well, wait a minute, they didn't really mean it the way I thought they wanted me to mean it. Maybe it does have that, double edge to it. So sometimes you're in your feelings and you have to be like, okay, they didn't mean nothing like that.
I'm like that. I'm like that a lot because I came up with very low self-esteem. So when you have that low self-esteem, you're always thinking, oh, I said something wrong to her. Oh, she meant that about me. But really, it wasn't about you at all.
No.
So you really have to study that thought, study that statement, and just kind of like say, oh, it wasn't about me, and just brush it off. Because if you don't, you're going to hold that and you're going to feel some type of way about it. It's going to weigh on your mind, soul, and your spirit.
Right. Let me go back to this comment. Desire says, your emotions were not meant to be worn as a sleeve, nor was meant to be worn on the outside. Jesus isolated once, and that's when he went and spoke to God. The devil likes to play with your mind, with your mom when you're, is that mind or I think you meant mind. And Natasha says social media can be very depressing. Victor says, no, we don't. I don't know what we was talking about when he said, no, we don't. And then when Queen was talking, he was saying, I think when both of y'all were talking, he said, preach, express yourself to your friends. Or you were saying that you have to have those positive people around you. And I totally agree with that. You have to have those people around you that are going to be positive. And then also, not only do you have those positive people around you, you got to make sure, like I say this all the time, knowing who to be patient with and knowing who to totally disconnect from.
Right.
And some people that I'm showing to disconnect from is very painful, and I'm going through a pruning season, so it's very painful right now.
It's that time of year, we're heading to a new year. We want to stay on course if we're doing all the right things and things are going well. And if things are not, then this is the time that most people take to reassess.
But if you really think about it, you are who you hang around.
Yes.
So that's another way to think about it. You guard your heart. Watch who you hang around. Watch who you spend all your time with. Watch who you keep in your side pocket, because you really got to watch, and you got to really be particular who you keep close, because of course people talk, people stab you in the back, people do all that kind of stuff to you. But if you're on your journey,
okay,
like you with your podcast, and
that's right,
doing different things in your life, and you're steadily moving up, but this next person beside you is always giving you negative energy about what you got going on, you can't your heart is not guarded. So when I had to learn to guard my heart by, okay, if I mention something to this person, they're like giving a face, okay, we don't talk to you about that no more.
That's right.
Matter of fact, I might not talk to you for about a week or two. If you're not going to support me, or if you have an idea, oh, well, let's do it. Why don't you do it this way? Let me give you this idea. Support me, but don't give me no negative energy, because that's not what I need. Because I'm going to give you all the positive energy that I have. So I need the same from you.
Right.
Ooh, right. That's good. Natasha says that part, all of that. They are real life walking vampires, drainers.
What you talking about?
Right.
What you talking about?
Oh man.
Oh my
she
goodness.
hit something there on the head.
Ooh. And Victor says, so we're cutting people off instead of bringing them up. So we only witnessing to the saved and leaving the unsaved to fall by the wayside. No, that's not that's not what I'm saying. That's not what none of us are saying. That we're cutting people off instead of bringing them up.
Well,
here's the thing. Let's collectively answer that. For my response to what Let me pull it back on the screen. Okay. So we're cutting people off instead of bringing them up. So we only witnessing to the saved and leaving the unsaved to fall by the wayside. Here's the thing, Victor, what I had to realize, and this is for me, I'm speaking for Tori. Tori cannot save everybody.
No.
I try to be there for people as much as I can, but me trying to bring them up was bringing me down and bringing me lower than I needed to be. So I'm going to reach my hand out to help you, but realize I can't help everybody. And if it's going to cause, like, if I'm already sinking, I'm sinking myself. And while I'm sinking, I'm reaching out to save you. And then we both drowning. That ain't working for me. So the best thing I can do is pray for you. And like I said, it's not just saving the ones that save and leaving the unsaved. That's not how it works. There's people that I try to be a reflection of God's. And no, I'm not perfect, but I try my best to be a reflection of God's love. And there's some people that will see the God in you and make them want to do better, make them want to do right, make them want to, well, let me see what this God she talking about. Let me see what he's up. Let me see him getting on for myself. But I can't save everybody. Trying to do that, trying to be there, being around the people that were there's some people that don't. Let me just say it like this: some people do not want the help that you're trying to give them. Some people just don't want to be helped, and I can't. I used to have that mentality. I'm gonna try to save the world. That was not working for me. In order to be trying to save the world, I start sinking on my own. So I'm going to if I'm drowning myself, I'm going to reach back and help you. But if you don't want to be helped or you're not receiving the help that I'm giving, then what is it? What do I do? You know what I mean? No, I don't know.
God would never want us to leave people in their darkness, because that's what I'm at the point now. I see darkness and light. So if there's certain qualities that you are going to display, your actions will show it, not just your words, that you will have a certain light in you. I know people that believe all different types of things, gods, their, theologies and what have you. But at the same time, darkness and light is real. It's just like at night, there's darkness. When the light comes up, it takes away the darkness. So we're supposed to be beacons of light and prayer. You said that. That's the first thing that came to my mind. No, I would never want to leave anybody in darkness. God asked me to pray for them. So that's what I do. And even when they hurt you, you're still supposed to say, well, Lord, don't understand. You understand. You see all, So I pray for them. And just make me stronger. You got to be strong out here, and it's not easy. That I will say.
Yeah. Let me go back to Brittany's comment. I'm sorry. Brittany says your friends should have a we spirit to your ideas and ambitions. Only voice your feelings, goals, etc. to people who truly want to see you at your
Go
best.
Ahead on.
Less. Yes. Definitely, Brittany.
I love it.
Yes. Definitely.
Natasha says, I realize when people come at me from a different angle, I learn to pray for their inner peace and mine. I also ask God to show me the lesson that was supposed to be taught with that encounter. Take my feelings out of it, because your feelings will definitely betray you. Let me go through some of the comments, y'all, because I want to get behind. And Dwayne says isolation can either break you or give you clarity, because if you allow the wrong people in your circle, it will cause you into a bad mental space, causing you to shut down your heart. I had to learn to focus on those that love me and my progress, and not focus on those who wish me bad. Gotta give them haters the deuce.
Yep.
And Victor says, thing is, you can save the world. I think he meant world. One soul at a time. No, I cannot, Victor. I cannot. Yep. Felicia Prescott says, hey, Tori. Hey, Felicia. Hey, Fifi. And Natasha says, yep, been there and done that. Chasing folks down a rabbit, carrying their luggage, and they done made it out. And now I'm stuck with trying to find my way. Not ever. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Ooh. Natasha, we here. I'm trying to tell you. I can't say the world. I stopped trying.
And for my thing, I've been through a lot coming up with my kids by myself, and when I look into the world, I see so many people that need help. So many people that need help. More. I wish I could help them. I have ideas galore about what I can do to help them. But how can I help you if I ain't right yet? I can help you a little bit, You know, you need something to eat. You know, you need a place to sleep, spend the night. You know, I can do that. But as far as pulling you and getting your finances right, no, you got to do that. And you got to want to do that. And I came at it from that angle for the simple fact, the business that we're doing, money matters. Okay. I've tried to introduce it to my son, and he's trying to get his stuff together. But I'm like, why wouldn't you think about doing something that your mom is encouraging you to do that I know that works? Tried to talk it to my daughter. Why I can't afford that. Why can't you do? Okay, fine. And guess what I had to learn to do? Okay, I'm moving on. I tried to help you. We can't help everybody.
Yep.
You start with your family. A lot of times, those are the worst ones to try to help anyway. But you know, you have to start outside your circle, outside of people that you know. Okay, they don't know me, so they're not gonna prejudge me at what I'm coming with them with. You have to start there, because people close to you not gonna let you help them unless they gonna negative you the whole time. So when it comes to helping people, I'm all for it. Anybody that knows me will tell you that. But I've had to learn the hard way. I have given my last to people. And where has it gotten me? A struggle. They on their way, doing what they need to do. But where am I now? Like she said, trying to dig my way out.
Yep.
You can't.
One
help
thing about it,
everybody.
they never look back either. They gone.
Lord, that's
They'll
good.
leave you right there.
That's good. Let me go back. Felicia says, hello, somebody. She was listening to agreeing what y'all was saying. And then Tasha says, I also learned everyone isn't going to understand my purpose and calling in life. God gave it to me to do. Absolutely. And Felicia says, you can't feed too much into their spirit either. It'll leave you feeling lost and helpless. Absolutely. And Felicia also says, people will drain the life out of you and move on and talk trash when they're done. Ain't that the truth?
Yes, it is.
Lord have mercy. But I just feel, and then for me, I would have to say, I am actually an empath. So I have to be very careful who I have in my space as well, because I haven't learned how to balance. Like if I'm going through my own issues and you dump your issues on me, I'll internalize what I'm going through, and then I start internalizing your stuff as well. And that's another reason why I choose the isolate, which is healthy for me, because I take on other people's problems and I haven't learned how to balance yet. I'll internalize what you going on. Or like if I'm in a good mood or I'm happy or whatever, and you may be going through something and you're depressed or stressed about it, and we talk about it, but then I'll start to internalize your stress, the depression. I'll internalize that on myself. So I don't know how that works, but I start to feel what you're feeling.
Yeah, I'm like that too. I have to be very careful. I mean, sometimes when I'm encountering someone, I can smell something on you. I mean, not literally smell it, but I can feel there's something wrong. And I probably will ask them, I'm like, is something wrong? Something's weighing on you. I can feel that. Maybe they'll unburden themselves, maybe they won't. But I totally agree with Tori, because it's a heavy weight to be able to feel other people's pain. And most people nowadays, in some form or fashion, are in pain. There's hardly any, that good, emotion, that joy, and, all of that type of stuff that we would like to feel. People are really weighed down. That's why we're doing the event, because we want to help them see their way through. Inflation, I have to talk about this. I'm kind of the nerd of the group, and I have my stats and facts, but these kind of things weigh on people. And then we have an increase of crime due to COVID, due to what's going on with the supply chain, due to high prices, gas, everything doubling. And guess what? Your paycheck, though, has stayed the same. So your money doesn't spend the same. So those kind of problems, as well as many others, weigh on people. And then, like you say, Tori, they may come and attack because they feel as though, oh, you got just one more than I do. And I don't like it.
Let me go back to some comment. Brittany says, we have got to shift that mindset. It bothers me to see people often feel more comfortable expressing the need for help from a complete stranger than those closest. Ooh, that's good. And Victor says, so the world full of bad people. Come on, y'all. Everybody isn't like that. Victor, we did not say, well, we're not saying everybody's bad. We're just saying that you cannot help everybody. We're not saying everybody's bad. Some people, I don't know. I know for me, some people I have to avoid. I'll just say that. Some people it's necessary that I avoid, but I'm not saying all people are bad. There's some people that come, we say this often, there's people that come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Yep. Sometimes we holding on to people that came in our life for a reason or a season. We holding on them thinking they lifetime people. Well, no, that ain't no, that's not how it works.
Time is short.
And Natasha says, I repeat, real life walking vampires, drainers, woo child. And Felicia says, preach, Tori, I learned to utilize the do not disturb feature from me. Listen, I'll turn my phone on do not disturb in a heartbeat. And Natasha says, I have to start praying after speaking with them, and I'm learning to pray with them while on the phone. Absolutely. And that's a lot of times we say, well, I'm gonna pray for you. And that's what I'm learning, that if I say I'm going to pray for you, I do it right then. Because I may go off to start doing something else and I may forget later. So when I tell somebody that I'm going to pray for them, typically now I'm learning to pray for them right then, because I don't want to forget later, because I'm one of those people that I like to do what I say I'm going to do. And it irks my nerve when it bothers me when people don't keep their word. If you don't keep your word to me, like if you say, now I get it, sometimes things happen, but if you say that you're going to do something and you don't do it, but this is what some people do. Like if they know they're not able to do it, instead of them letting you know that they're not able to do it, they'll just totally ignore you or totally, you know what I mean? Don't even let you know. Just let me know something, But I mean, I'm just saying it just in general. Just it could be something as simple as picking up a kid or whatever. But like a lot of times I'm real big on, I pay attention to what people tell me. If you're not able to keep your word, I don't really trust nothing else you say.
Yep.
That's
how that works.
And then he said, about the whole world of bad people. It's not a whole world of bad people, but some people don't want to be helped.
Mm-hmm.
You can't help them if they don't want to be helped, if they don't want to accept the help, and you could have done 10 different things for them to help them get up off their feet. Mm-hmm. And they're still in the same spot because they don't want to do no better. And so it's not that they're even a bad person. It's just sometimes they don't know any better. Mm-hmm. No motivation. The world can get you down like that where you just not motivated to do anything. It might have just done beat them down that bad. They don't want to do anything. So you can't help everybody, because everybody not that they can't be helped, but they don't want the help or don't know that they need the help.
That's another issue.
So it's not that you can't, you can't help everybody.
And here's the other thing that I want to say, is the fact that there are some people that come into your life that the devil sends to destroy you. Some people are sent to destroy you. So what do you do in that case? When someone is purposely sent to your life to destroy you, do you fall apart, or do you help that person? What do you do? Because there's some people that sent. There's some people that was specifically, I feel like they were sent to destroy me.
And then you may not even know it at first, and then after a while, you looking back and there's a knife in your back. After you then been dealing with them this person, and then after a while, you got to do what Jesus did: get behind me, Satan, and keep it moving. That's what you got to do.
Yep. And back to guarding your heart. I mean, it's so deep. This is a really good discussion. Very good.
And Natasha says, I think some folks just too heavy for us regular folks to help.
That's a good one.
And Natasha rebuked them. But yes, I've had the experience, because here's the thing. I tell people all the time, one of my faults is I see the good in everybody. And because I see the good in everybody, it has been detrimental for me. You know what I mean? Because I'm seeing the good, even though in the midst of their trials and their tribulations they're not, they may be going left and they need to go right, but I'm still, well, I know they're going left now, but I know they're capable of doing right.
Right.
And then sometimes they will do things that make you appear, okay, they got it, they was listening, but then they go back to doing the crazy stuff. You know what I mean? So sometimes it can be confusion because people pretend very well. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we got to be very careful.
I'm that way too, because I used to be that way really bad naive, believe everything they said. They were so good. Oh, this is such a good person. Oh, I want to help them. I want to do this. But now I'm very cautious, and I'm looking like, I don't believe nothing she just said. That's how you're looking at people now, because you have been told so much until you like, no, thank you. I don't believe that. Like, a person came up to my car not too long ago asking for money, and the way she looked, because she was going to use money for something she had no business using it for. She said she wanted something to eat, and I was like, not today.
But see,
and I usually do help, but I just didn't feel right about that particular situation. She was going to everybody's car begging, and it's fine, and I felt bad for her. But I have got the way that the world is now. You so skeptical about people now. Well, if I give her money, what's she gonna go buy with it? Is she really gonna buy food? I'd much rather just go buy you some food if you're hungry. And that's it's sad, but it's still talking about guarding the heart. You still got to guard what you feel, because I just didn't feel right about giving her money.
Right.
Because I felt like she was going to do nonsense with it.
Yeah.
And so, not that I don't want to help people, because I love helping people. I love it. It makes me feel so good, the joy I get from helping people. But we just really got to be mindful of who we're helping. Yeah. And it doesn't make sense to help them.
Yeah.
Right.
And then remember too now, because there's one scripture that I always remember, because we want to help people. We all feel like, we're helpers and givers, and, we feel people's struggles and what have you. But God said, I can't tell you where it's at right now, but he said, those who help the poor, he will bless them. He will repay. So I always remember that. I never feel bad, because we can't really say what they're going to do, or, of course we don't want to judge anyone. We don't want to be judged. So I just remember that helps me, when I'm in that situation, because I know, God is so big, and people can be small, but he is way bigger than all of this. So that's where I put my, all in all, my hopes, my dreams, hopefully my decisions, everything is centered around that. And that helps me. That helps me. That helps me to guard my heart.
Use caution.
Caution. Yep.
Well, see, here's the thing in regards to that. People can tell you it's for one thing, and in your heart, I mean, like you said, you have to guard your heart. But for me, if they say they're going to use it, I have the trust that they're going to do. But like you said, they may not. But at the end of the day, you gave from a pure place, because I know that's how I am. I give from a pure place. Now it's on you if you choose to abuse. Like you tell me you want to get something to eat and you don't. That's the cross you have to bear.
Yeah.
Right. So if you don't do what you said you're going to do, that's the cross you have to bear. But you have to realize that you gave from a pure place. You gave with pure intentions, because they told you that it was, hungry. And then I actually had someone before as well offered. They were like that, because I was actually at a Burger King, and they was like, well, you don't have to give me the money. Can I go in with you? And that's what we did as well. We walked inside the Burger King, and I bought them something to eat. But like in those cases where you kind of don't know, like I said, it's the cross they have to bear if they're not being truthful with you.
Yeah.
But God is gonna bless you for giving from a pure place and with pure intentions.
Right, definitely.
Yeah. And let me go back and see. Charlene says, right. I think she was saying that when y'all were talking. And then Natasha says, before I do or give to anyone, I seek God first and let him handle the rest as long as I was obedient. Absolutely. Absolutely. So with that being said, any other final words you guys want to talk about in regards to guarding your heart? And then I want y'all to go back and talk about the event that's coming up on Sunday.
Okay. No, I just think that was an excellent topic. I really do. It's a topic, we as females, people in general, we really need to guard our hearts in more than one way and from more than one thing. Yep. There's so much to guard your heart against. So you really just need to, kind of like do that recipe, have a recipe. How am
Mm-hmm.
I going to do this? When this happens to me, what am I going to do about it? How am I going to fix it? What's the recipe for it? Because we have so many different things coming at us from every direction
Absolutely.
that can bring us, that could cause our heart to just crumble. And we don't want to do that. And I mean, my last thing is this: when you let God guide your heart, or let Him guard it by following His word, by reading your Bible and praying, communicating, your heart is well guarded.
That's
Absolutely.
true.
And Queen.
I am just, I think I'm inspired by both of you and all of the comments, because we're all really in this thing together. And to know that other people experience the things that you experience. And like when we go into the self isolation, self care mode, we know that you're not alone. You're not alone. And you can pick up that phone, or if you are accepting the messengers, the messages on Messenger, or however you like to communicate, then pick up that medium, and get the message out there to someone that you trust, who can help you bear your burdens.
Okay. And actually, I want to share these. I forgot about this. I want to share these 7 tips that I found online that was ways to guard your heart. The first one: protect everything that comes in, meaning everything that is competing for our time, our money, and resources. Just turn on the TV and go anywhere, and you'll quickly be hit with anything and everything that wants your attention. For example, music, videos, books, language, power, money, and pride are just some of the many examples. We need to use wisdom in what we allow into our hearts. We only have a limited time each day to make much of God. So, what we are being influenced by, listening to, or looking at. Number 2, persevere in the face of difficulties. Difficulties are going to happen in this thing called life. They have to. That's the product of a sinful world filled with sinful people. It's not a coincidence that God lines out multiple things for you to do while following Him. Reading the Bible daily, praying consistently, sharing the gospel with others, and spending time in solitude with the Lord are just some of these. Number 3, follow what the Lord is leading you to do. Everyone is different. We all have different skills and desires, and that's a good thing. God has made us different intentionally. He calls us to follow Him in so many different ways. Some of us will be pastors, teachers, EMTs, stay at home moms, musicians, mechanics, writers, or I don't even know what that word. What's that word? Baristas, whatever that is.
Baristas. You were a barista.
Barista. Okay. And number 4, cultivate an atmosphere of community. When we are adopted as sons and daughters of the one true King, we come into a family and we are sent on mission. This involves people. There is no way to follow Jesus in isolation. Oh, Lord, that one's speaking to me. There is no way to follow Jesus in isolations. It flat out doesn't even make sense. Ooh, that's stepping on my toe. If Jesus says by following Him, you will be a part of the church and you'll make disciples, that does not translate to just have your personal, isolated relationship with me and you'll be fine. We need people. We need community. Okay. Ouch, 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 and ouch. Number 5, keep priorities high and do not compromise. There's wisdom in keeping our priorities. Of course, those need to be right priorities to begin with, but nonetheless, keeping them is a big deal. What can happen, and it has happened for me many times, is that we let the day dictate our priorities instead of our priorities dictating our day. Number 6, trust the Lord with rest. We live in a culture with so fast paced. Chances are you might have spent about 30 seconds on this page and then you'll be off to the next one. Productivity is elevated above all else and people are praised for getting things done. While we run around like crazy, we often forget this is bad for our hearts. We are also telling God we don't trust Him in the process. And the last one, number 7, preach the gospel to yourself each day. Right. This last one sums up everything above and couldn't be more important. The gospel isn't just a one-time thing. and a ticket to heaven, but something we all need each and every day. Really, every minute. The second we take our eyes off the cross, we forget who we really are. Our hearts need to be reminded that while we still sin, we are forgiven, redeemed, and are children of God.
Amen.
And Victor also says, great show, ladies.
Okay.
Thank you, Victor. And like I said, I want you guys to wrap it up with telling, everyone about the event that's coming up on Sunday.
Well, the event is Money Matters. And before Jewel gives you the lowdown of, how we're going to do this thing at City Grill Monday from about 2 to 5, I just wanted to share, what's going on in our world today when it comes to finances. And I'm going to be brief, but inflation, I mentioned that earlier. Increases in the consumer price index have made all sorts of goods more expensive. And everyone has seen that if you've done any type of grocery shopping. We just had Thanksgiving, Christmas is upon us, the new year, what have you, and everything is skyrocketing. Do y'all like to go on trips, travel? Well, hospitality has gone up 17.5%. So, you're going to pay more when you do the things that you enjoy. And of course, the things that we need, like, we have to have a place to live. We have to, heat that place. We have to cool that place. People like, entertainment things, such as this, where they have Wi-Fi, they have to pay for that. It's not free. So all of these things are rising higher. And the other thing that we're also going to touch on this Sunday is debt. In 2020, outstanding consumer debt in the U.S. reached $14.88 trillion. That's the total personal debt in the U.S. is at an all-time high of $14.96 trillion. So we all experience this. I mean, no one at this table that I'm aware of is independently wealthy. We work hard, to make things happen for our families and ourselves. And the last thing I want y'all to think about this one is everybody's wealth is someone else's debt. And you are part of that. You are actually, all the times we are become a consumer, whatever we spend that money on, it is making someone else in a better position. And like I said, with inflation for, people like us who work hard every day, well, what's happening with that. Our dollar is shrinking. And Jewel, you know a lot more about, the income shifting. So I definitely want you to, make some statements about that.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to give you a whole lot because I want y'all to be in awe when you come on Sunday. But we will be speaking about income shifting. We will be teaching financial literacy, talking about financial literacy. We all need that because some of us who think we know, we don't know. You're doing some things right, but you're not doing everything right. We want to help you get on a better footing for 2022. We want to use this as an avenue to teach people how to get their pockets right for 2022.
Yep.
So just remember income shifting and financial literacy. And y'all be thinking about what you think income shifting is. I'm not even going to tell you. I want you to come and see.
All right.
But the thing is, come out, see. It's a free meal.
Yep.
You get to sit down at the table, eat. There'll be some vendors.
Yes, and we are still looking for
Right.
vendors if you'd like to be a part.
Right. We are still looking for vendors. And just come out, have a good time, shop, sit, eat, listen to what we're going to teach you about this money shifting and this financial literacy, and then shop some more afterward.
Okay.
But I want we want everybody to come out.
That's
We're so
right.
excited about this. And, this is being our first event we've done ourselves. We're going to have more because we want to expose this to everybody.
And
Okay.
kings, we want to put money back in your pockets, and queens, we want some money back in your pocketbooks for next year. Just remember that.
And Victor says, money matters. We're teaching the effectiveness of trade lines and how beneficial they can be Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
So that was his question. So,
Oh.
and also remind everyone the time again and also the location.
It's at City Grill, right on Palmetto Street. And it is really 1 to 6. People will be coming in around 1, but we'll do probably after about an hour or so. We want to give people
Little
time
mingling.
to come in and do a little mingling, have a little bit, listen to a little bit of music, Then we'll get into eating and talking about money matters because we want you to be able to sit down and focus
Yep.
on this because it is so important.
Yep.
And the other question, with if someone that's watching the podcast are interested in becoming a vendor, give them the social media platforms or contact phone numbers that they need to contact in order for them to, become a vendor.
Well, they can contact me. My name is Jewel Jenkins, but you can just text me. I prefer that you text me. My number is 843-453-6224.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can get me on Facebook. My whole name, my whole government name is there.
Yeah.
Jewel Lynette Stinney Jenkins is my entire name. You can find me on Facebook. But text me because it's easier for me to keep a record of who calls,
And that text number is what is it? 843?
843-453.
Hold on. I'm trying to put it in the text. 453
6224.
843-453-6224.
Yes.
Okay, I'm putting it in the chat now.
And like I said, this is Sunday. We're still looking for vendors. So y'all please call me. Text me rather, I should say. Text me at least by Thursday. At least. Give us time to, talk finances and talk money, how we're going to get everything done. We'll talk about all that when you call me.
Okay. And also, I'd like to thank both of you guys for coming on. Definitely would like to have you guys back.
Definitely. I enjoyed it.
So sweet.
Thank you so much.
And of course, I like to say to any of you out there watching, if you would like to be a guest on the Keep the Faith podcast, you can contact me at 843-920-8124. That number is 843-920-8124. You can leave a voicemail or text message on that number, or you can email me at faithisnecessary@gmail.com. Also, if you would like to be a sponsor or advertise or any of the podcasts with 119 Media Group, you can contact Jamel Lyde, and I'm actually going to put his number in the comments, which is 843-687-5055. That's 843-687-5055. So if you would like to be a sponsor or advertise on any of the podcasts that we have at 119 Media Group, definitely contact Jamel Lyde. And once again, that number is 843-687-5055. And the numbers are also listed in the comments as well. And as I end the show, Victor had to remind me that I wasn't in the show right. So he said, when you started out, there was something you were saying that you got away from saying. So let me start back saying what I normally say. In this thing called life, we may bend, but don't you dare break. Always remember to keep the faith in all you do. And once again, if you missed the beginning of the podcast, hit that replay button. Make sure you subscribe to the Keep the Faith podcast Facebook page and YouTube page. And also make sure you subscribe to the 119 Media Group Facebook page and the YouTube page as well. And also you can find 119 Media Group on Instagram as well. So make sure you utilize all social media platforms and stay connected. All right, we out. You guys take care. Have a blessed evening, and we out.
Thanks.
Be blessed.